Hello and welcome back to the Punchers Chant podcast, and welcome to the preview show, which I know is happening on a Tuesday, but it's because we had to mix things around a little bit. We've got an exciting guest podcast coming for you later in the week, so stick around for that, as well as the big news that just dropped yesterday. We've just dropped our own magazine, which Harry is beautifully modelling for us there. Check it out, drop us a message on social media if you want to get yourself a copy now as a part of the pre-sale. You like it?
Oh, it's incredible, mate.
You like it as well, Ben?
I don't think we've done too badly, have we?
No, exactly. So if we like it, there's no reason why you shouldn't as well. So yeah, like I said, check that out, drop us a message. Other than that, we'll be having a look at the upcoming schedule inboxing. Matchroom have just dropped a load of shows. Josh Bawatsy's just signed to Queensbury, Terry Harper to MVP. A few things just to kind of clean up the schedule, make sure we don't miss anything, and then we're ready to hit the ground running again with some big fights coming up soon. Let's start off with Dave Allen versus Arson Beck Makhmedov, the scariest heavyweight in the world who got bullied a few times. What do you make of that as a fight?
Fair play. That's what I got to say to Dave Allen. You know, there's been lots of talks about who is Dave Allen going to fight in his like sort of homecoming up in Yorkshire, and I wasn't expecting it to be Makhmedov. You know, Eddie Hearn said there was 5 names that he could have fought. Otto Wallin was one of them. Why didn't he go for Otto Wallin? You know, in a sense, an easier fight. But instead, he goes, I want to be scared, which is crazy. And to be scared, you want to fight the scariest looking heavyweight boxer out there. And yeah, just crazy, and it's just amazing.
It's beatable, man. Like, he is beatable.
Oh yeah,
that's what I think. That's why they've picked this. Is it represents a real opportunity that if you win this, you are knocking on the door of those top heavyweights big time, and that's what Dave Allen needs to be doing.
Yeah, it's a good looking win for the resume, innit? But I thought he was waiting for the British title shot.
Oh, don't even
I
start
think that one's just a mess with TKV and Fraser Clark and Adelaide and
who's TKV fighting?
It was meant to be Fraser Clark.
Yeah,
he was meant. Yeah, but he's got another fight lined up now, hasn't he? Or is he not yet?
No, and then Adelaide's obviously fighting Hergovic because Adelaide and TKV. It was a whole mess. So I just think it made sense to just ignore that and go for the big money fight and go for the big.
And he's headlined in Sheffield.
Yeah, headlining his own show in the Sheffield Arena. Plenty of other Yorkshire talent on the card as well, which we'll obviously get onto. But yeah, I can't help but feel happy for Dave Allen with that.
Oh yeah. You look at it as well, it's going to be interesting to see sort of how he reacts in the sort of opening exchanges, because I looked at Makhmedov's last fight. Not the best watch, you know, he comes out swinging and all that, so he leaves his chin open to get hit and all. But yeah, I just take my hat off to Dave Allen for taking this fight. You know, you beat Johnny Fisher. You know, Makhmedov's no Johnny Fisher, he's that sort of next step up. But like Eddie Hearn has said in all the interviews that he's done about this, if he beats Makhmedov, he's up there in the sport of boxing. You know, he's up there close to fighting the likes of Anthony Joshua. You know,
is he though?
Well, if AJ's meant to be fighting Tony Yoka next, but no, what I mean is he's up in that top echelon of the sport where he could
probably top 15 heavyweight.
He could fight the likes of.
Is Makhmedov that
Lawrence Okoli,
win?
Bloody pound for pound star. You could fight Lawrence Okoli.
Well, yeah, I think it puts him in the picture. I think it puts him a couple fights away from a big fight.
He's not a world class fighter.
Yeah, but I think his big fight is a British title fight.
I think if he wins this, it puts him past that. I think he gets closer to a world title than he does a British title fight. I think he's now ready at a British title fight level.
He's not fighting for a world title.
No, I don't think but it gets him closer to those fights that would then qualify you for it. Which whether you think he'll win those is obviously a different conversation. But
I wouldn't mind
Makhmedov is what, top
title?
30 heavyweights probably in the world, that neck of the woods. So you're beating him and you're into the top 20 or so, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I just think the better route for him would be to go for a British title. Obviously they've got this fight set up now, so it's the fight but after this I'd go for a British title fight.
Yeah, but a British title fight's not going to pay your gas bill in 20 years time, is it?
No, but
it's the big money fights that matter, and I think this puts him closer to what would be a big payday. Even if it is a Wilder or I'm trying to think of another net. Is there people who
Tyson Fury?
Well, that are up.
He's not coming back anymore.
Zhilei Zhang.
Yeah,
those sort of fighters that have been up fighting the tops in the heavyweight.
Yeah, so they have a big name,
just drop
so the
down,
money, their echelon of fighters that they're going to be fighting is higher, and you almost need to get through one of these to qualify for those fights, and the payday that will come with them. Another reality season payday. I'm sure he wouldn't say no to.
So do you think Matchroom, obviously he spoke a few, well, it was after the Johnny Fisher fight, he spoke about wanting to win the British title. That was like his aim. Do you think people at Matchroom and people around him now have had a word with him and sort of said, nah, just go for the big money fights?
I think in a way though, Boxer didn't want to play ball with the sort of negotiations with Dave Allen. They wanted to go down the line of, no, we want our 2 men to go for it instead of having Matchroom against Boxer. They wanted 2 boxer fighters going, which doesn't make sense.
They were messing their own fighter about because Jamie TKV literally said he was happy for it.
That would have been that's a bigger payday. If Jamie TKV fought Dave Allen, that's a bigger payday than Fraser Clark.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Especially considering they'd on BBC iPlayer and...
Yeah, and whatever happens there, whether we even see that fight. And like, we'll talk a bit about on that stuff, because obviously, like we mentioned, Josh Buatsy's made that jump. But no, I think this is a good fight for Dave Allen. I think this is smart. I think it's smart matchmaking because people are... You know, Makhmedov has he has like almost like in people's heads an extra 10 rankings on whatever he's actually ranked just because of how scary he looks. Yeah. Like people go, oh, okay, he's the 30th best heavyweight in the world. So if you like, he's the 20th because he looks scary. And I think by beating Makhmedov, which I think he genuinely should, if he comes in fit, ready, and as raring to go as he was for that Johnny Fisher fight, there's no reason why he shouldn't be beating Makhmedov. And then you're talking about, like I say, big fights. So I think this is smart matchmaking.
12 rounder.
I think he stops Makhmedov, to be honest.
Yeah, Makhmedov's he's a solid bugger, don't get me wrong, but he leaves that chin too open, like you said. And the way Kabiel bullied him, really bullied him
to the body.
The body shots, I think, are just as much of an issue, which I think Dave Allen done very well against Johnny Fisher with as well, to slow Johnny Fisher down. And because it's almost like when you're taking so many shots to the body, your hands start to drop, and then it leaves your head even more open anyway. So yeah, I can see Allen getting a stoppage.
Yeah, and then obviously on the undercard of that as well, you've got Josh Padley, Reese Bellotti. Bellotti obviously just very recently off the back of a Ryan Garner loss. This card's not till the 11th of October, so he's got what, 3 months, 2-3 months, 2 months. I don't know my months. Yeah, for that one, and obviously Josh Padley. A couple of fights off that Shakur Stevenson loss now, looking to build himself up. I think for Padley, this probably represents, a really smart fight, that if you can win this, rankings-wise, it's going to put you in a nice little spot.
Yeah, look, I was surprised that they chucked Bellotti in so quick. I was surprised he's taken it, but I suppose he must be getting paid decent money to jump straight back in after being stopped in what was a tough fight for him last time out, but... He's going up a weight class as well, isn't he, for this one, to fight Josh Padley, so he must have been offered decent money. And like you said earlier, before we started recording, like, it's up to him whether he wants to take our fight. I know some people online have said that probably shouldn't be in that position to be taking this fight so soon after a stoppage loss, but it's another good win on the record for Josh Padley if he can get through it. And they're obviously building him back towards... I don't know, it's hard to sort of know where his full potential is at.
What's this, with Padley?
Yeah, because we've seen him against Shakur Stevenson, obviously in a world title fight, but like, is that realistically like attainable again? I don't know.
If we're speaking honestly as well, we've only seen 3 fights from Josh Padley. Yeah. You know, Mark Chamberlain, Shakur Stevenson, and then last time out. I haven't seen enough, but...
You called him a future world champ. Let's not let that run.
No, you're twisting my words. I said international, like WBA international. That rubbish.
I don't know.
World champion.
I don't know.
But what I mean is, for Reese Bellotti, what Ben touched on, I'm very shocked that he's taken this fight. You know, people were saying after that Ryan Garner fight, his coach was like, what was it? It was a stoppage, wasn't it?
12th round, yeah. I feel
the money must be good, because it doesn't go through my head like...
It's not going to be amazing, but he's at a point in his career where he probably just he's a couple of more paydays.
3 months after. That's not like obscenely quick to be taking a fight. You get suspended for a month by the BBFC after a stoppage. So he's got then 2 months near enough after that before he fights, or a month and a half. I don't think it's obscene. I think the problem with Bellotti, I don't know, what would you want from him? Do you want him to go and fight some bum who's never won and then go and fight someone who's got a padded record, and then go and fight someone. Like, he's getting on a bit. Yeah, he's had this kind of Indian summer where he's shown unbelievable quality since Ray Ford lost, basically. And he's built himself up so well. One loss against someone whose ceiling is beyond the level of Reese Bellotti, I don't think means you have to reset yourself back. Like, why? Like, I know it feels like that's what you do, but why do you have to? Like, you don't get worse because you instantly forget how to box. You have to learn your jab again. He's still as good as he was. He just lost to someone better.
And to be fair, if he's obviously going to go into this fight thinking he could get the best of Josh Padley, and if he wins that, then it leapfrogs him then. So I suppose, like you said, he's at a point of his career towards the latter stages now where he hasn't got as many fights left. So yeah, you've got to just sort of roll the dice a bit more, and like, it could be he calls it quits after this fight or sees where he's at after this, but yeah, it should be an interesting fight, I think.
Yeah,
it's depending on how the fight finishes, I think, for Bellotti, if he's going to call it a day after this. If he gets stopped again, then I think he needs to really have a look at his career. And like you said, he's had a brilliant career. What's he picked up? He's picked up the Commonwealth, European, and all those British as well, I think. So
he defended the British nearly 3 times, didn't he?
Incredible career. And yeah, I just think it's a good fight. I'm going to watch it, but I'm thinking, was it right to send him back in against a decent operator? You know, Reese Bellotti.
What would you have wanted him to see against?
He's a tiny fighter
himself. The point I'm making. What fight would you want to see from Reese Bellotti?
People were talking about against Ryan Garner. Reese Bellotti's this. Reese Bellotti's that. He's a good operator, good fighter, and all that. Strong, durable. I don't think putting him in against Josh Padley's the right decision because he's a matchroom fighter as well, isn't he?
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah, but you don't know how many.
I don't understand it.
What do you want to see then from what fight would you want to see from Bellotti? What kind of fight?
A fight that he can win.
He can win this.
But you can win this. And also, like, you don't know how many fights he's got left on his contract with Matchroom. If he's got 1 fight left on his contract with Matchroom,
he needs to make his
money, and
they
throw him a journeyman, after that he's got nowhere else to go. Whereas if this is his last fight with Matchroom and he wins this and he knows he has to win it, he's going in there full steam, knowing it's win or bust in terms of getting another contract.
I think the reason that people have been a bit up in arms about it is just because we didn't expect it. It felt unexpected. Like, it just wasn't on your bingo card. Like the main event, to be honest, it's just not. If at the start of the year you were to give me 1,000 fights to write that I'd want to see, neither of those would make the list. But that doesn't mean I don't want to see them now. I just didn't expect to see them, and I think that's fine. I think it's a good fight for both parties, personally. I think it gives Bellotti a real opportunity. Bellotti's shown far more levels than Josh Padley has, and it's only because Josh Padley's trajectory is this, and Bellotti's after Ryan Garner is on the way down now, that it looks like a mismatch. But actually, if they're meeting somewhere in the middle, it's got all the hallmarks of a bit of a war, because Padley showed some real heart against Shakur, took some phenomenal shots. Bellotti's a tough bugger. These boys will trade, I think.
Yeah, if Bellotti hadn't just come off a stoppage loss to Garner, if that fight never had happened and this was just the next fight lined up for him, it would look like a really good fight, I think. Especially for Padley, considering what Bellotti's achieved, like, compared to what Padley has done so far in his career. I know he's fought for a world title, but it was not a fight that you'd see often, like, given to someone.
How many days' notice was that against Shakur Stevenson? Like 4?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Quick, wasn't it?
It was close.
Crazy. Floyd Schofield pulled out, didn't he?
I want to say it was like the Monday or Tuesday. I think it was the Tuesday or Wednesday. I think because he missed the grand arrivals and he was there for the press conference, so he must have missed that first. So it would have been like Tuesday or something. He would have flown out. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, it was close.
The other fight on the card is probably the best one, though.
Yeah, Janae Boston Fawaz for the English as a rematch is a great fight. It was a good first fight.
It was a draw last time. Did Boston give the win?
Was it? I can't remember. Was it a matchroom draw or was it a draw? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
You know what I mean when I say that? I'm sure everyone who's listening as well.
It did go down as a split decision draw.
Yeah, but was it? I seem to remember a lot of people had Fawaz winning that fight.
I think Fawaz did win it in most people's eyes, and I can remember they had a bit of. I'm sure they had like a bit of back and forth afterwards as well, but
it was good fun as well. He was great fun for Fawaz, like, wasn't he? He was good fun in that fight. He was good money. And yeah,
end of January.
He's a really tough fighter for us. He's good to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one again.
Was it January?
January 1st.
Like longer than that.
I suppose half a year ago, or just over that. Yeah, good fight. Looking forward to that. Up in Sunderland, there was supposed to be a better fight on there. It's not quite in Sunderland, but it's out in the spring, that neck of the woods. It's not the best card in the world. That's
one way to say it.
A little bit of a filler, get your fighters out kind of card, I think. But I mean, there's stuff in there that's at least of interest, right?
Yes, one of them is Cameron Vong versus TBA.
Yeah, interesting to see if that gets then replaced with Gavin Gwynn.
That's gory.
After his fight, then you can start to maybe go actually, but then that's in 2 weeks after Gavin's fight. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, but Gav's fighting. Who's he got?
Owen Dernan. So
yeah, but even at that, you just think.
I think that's a 4-rounder written all over.
Surely you just want a proper camp
Gav
for that
hasn't
fight.
fought since that.
Yeah, I don't know. You just thought you'd want a proper camp leading up to that fight again, rather than a sort of split camp. But what do I know?
He's not like most other fighters.
True. Yeah, he'll come in fit anyway.
Return of Sandy Ryan as well on that card.
Yeah, interesting. One of the few Matchroom fighters who hasn't been poached by MVP yet.
One of few female fighters in the world, really.
Well, yeah, there's not many left. And then obviously you got Pat McCormack on the main event as well against Miguel Parra, which represents, I think, a good fight for him, another building fight. He's a quality fighter. He's a big hitter, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Mark Dickinson against Troy Williamson is interesting.
Yeah, that's one of those you look at and you go, that could be a good fight. That could be a good fight on paper.
Yeah, and also your favourite fighter. One of the main, if you haven't already, one of the main sort of write-ups in this magazine.
TMA Ayton,
incredible
local fighter for me, Bristol. Really, I mean, if you didn't see, everyone saw her debut. It was full Micah Richards burst onto the scene, and yeah. It was an unbelievable performance.
Matchroom have got so many good prospects coming through, haven't they?
I think that's their problem at the moment. Is so many of their fighters are all 1-0s, 2-0s, 3-0s, and the likes, the ones that are above that, the Cameron Vongs, the Giorgio Viziolis, Taylor Bevans that are starting to establish themselves, are obviously still having their building fights, and so they're struggling to get those kind of meaningful main event 50-50, like build out a card proper strongly, which is why you're getting a card like this as a sort of filler to just keep people busy, which again, for a lot of these fighters, the likes of Adam Maka, Leo Atang, TMA Ayton, I have invested interest in their career, so I'm happy to see them on a card and getting out and fighting. But just if you're just a general boxing fan,
it's got a feel of
not getting excited for this
sort of show that they used to do Matchroom, and I feel like Eddie Hearn doesn't want to call it a next gen show anymore.
That's what most of these cards feel like.
They do have a bit of a feel like that.
Sometimes. It feels like a lot of this fight card is sort of before the bell action.
But
some of them are main.
But then 5 minutes ago you were moaning about a 50-50 fight on a card because you didn't want the person to be tested in the form of Reese Bellotti. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't have it both ways. Either people have to get tested and pushed, or they're going to be in bum fights.
It's just boxing fans. We're hypocrites, aren't we, when you think about it?
Oh, yeah, we are all. Like, every single one of us.
We love something, and then we hate that, but it's like the same thing. And yeah, it's crazy. But no, it's decent. Sunderland as well, which is weird. I can't remember the last sort of big fight card that Sunderland's had, No,
not off the top of my head.
Surprised they haven't got Lewis Ritson on this.
Doesn't seem to be that many fight cards like that far up north, does it?
No,
I can't think of the last one.
Not massively.
I think the last fight card up in like that part of the world was a Misfit show, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was one in Newcastle. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we don't count that.
And the First Direct Arena in Leeds has had a few. Obviously, that's a little bit north of Sheffield, but a lot of the stuff gets Sheffield is as far up as they go.
Talking about Misfits, do you know the guy who beat Mark Jeffers?
Yes.
Up in Barnsley.
Yeah, he's fighting on Misfits.
Mental. Fair play.
Like, what's happened there?
God knows, but fair play to him. Get the bag.
Just shows how much money's involved in Misfits boxing.
I didn't expect to see, again, another one I didn't expect to see, which hasn't got a card attached to it at the moment, but it's in the York Hall. Kieran Conway, George Liddard.
Is it your call they put it in?
Yeah, for the British and Commonwealth. I did not expect...
What date is that?
That's on the 17th of October, Friday. Friday night.
It's on a Friday night as well. Oh,
that's
I might have to make a trip up to London.
I just think like George Liddard is someone who's shown that promise and shown the power and stuff. But Conway's a quality operator. Like, talk about testing a fighter early or testing a fighter. That's a bigger test as it gets, really.
That's going to be a very good fight. They not put an undercard at all together.
Not yet, no. Not
That's
yet.
Just going to be filled with local fighters, I would have guessed.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have the I think the one of the other things Matchroom have got at the moment is they just don't have the stable that Queensbury have. Like, Queensbury, it seems like they could put on a card tomorrow and have 20 fighters, and then they could do one on Tuesday and have 20 fighters, and one on Thursday and have 20 fighters, and by the next week they'd have all had, they've got so many, whereas Matchroom don't necessarily have that depth in the UK. They do a little bit internationally.
It's a great test win for George Liddard. Bloody Kieran Conway coming off a stoppage win over Jerome Warburton last time out.
Yeah,
I think they both fought in the same card, didn't they? And there was like the theme of the fight week was, if you win this fight, then you two are facing each other next. So,
and now we're getting it.
Yeah,
it's nice because we've had so many question marks around Matchroom's schedule coming up, and a few of those question marks have been answered in the form of we've got some cards in the UK which we didn't have planned.
Did you ever feel like, because they didn't announce anything, that maybe a sale was coming through?
I didn't.
There was talk online of people were going, Matchroom haven't announced anything, Queensbury haven't announced anything.
People, you know what people on Twitter are like, they're tinfoil hats. They always get, as soon as anything happens, it's like, oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world. Like,
tell you what, man, get in our TikTok comments and you can see a lot of talking points there.
Well, like, yeah, Jesus. Exactly. Yeah, that's entertainment enough. We skirted around it a few times. Josh Boazzi to Queensbury. Here we go, to use the transfer what's the word I'm looking for? Terminology. There we go. Got there eventually. Yeah. It seems like the first one to make the move, isn't it? It's like everyone was kind of waiting for someone to flinch and go. And obviously he was out of a contract at Boxer, so it's slightly different. But now you start to think that maybe a few of those other boys, the likes of Azim, Callum Simpson, Lauren Price, Ben Whittaker, are going to be thinking, hang about, what about me?
I don't think they're going to have many fighters left by the end of the year.
No, I think it'll be hard to keep hold of them. And like Josh Boazzi's a quality fighter, and there's money fights out there for him. When Anthony Yard, I say when, that's really rude, but if Anthony Yard loses to David Benavidez, Yard Boazzi is a great fight to be made.
Yeah.
He's got money fights left.
Queensbury probably I think it's fair to say Queensbury have got the strongest stable in terms of UK
100%. Yeah, they
to be fair,
wipe the floor with Matchroom, but internationally, when you look at some of the talent that Matchroom have got, like Opataya, Boots Ennis, Shakur Stevenson, Katie Taylor, Sky Nicholson, like internationally, they've got some talent. It's the UK that Frank has just cleaned up, big time cleaned up.
It'd be interesting to see where these Boxer fighters end up, though.
It's interesting to see where Ben Shalom is.
I really can't see the likes of Ben Whittaker and Adam Azim wanting to stick around and be on.
Yeah,
red button fights.
Let's play a little game of where would we place them. Where do you think they'll go? We'll start off with Whittaker.
Matchroom.
Screams Matchroom.
Yeah.
He screams the PR and the media setup at Matchroom just suits him. I don't think Frank will have much time for Ben either. In the same way, I mean, obviously, if it's,
I don't know.
Are you umming and ahhing on that one? I thought that was a tap in for me. That is like. Yeah, sure.
That was the easiest one out of all of them.
Straight back, boom, Matchroom, gone, next one.
He screams
I feel like someone might just be in Warren's ear being like, yeah, he'd be a good one to pick up him. Just think of the social media clips.
But Frank won't care, I don't think. I think Frank
will care once he gets told how much money he brings in.
Maybe, yeah. No, I still think he's a Matchroom boy.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Adam Azim?
Matchroom.
I think Queensbury.
I think
after
Queensbury.
Bournemouth, the show.
Yeah,
I feel
with Hamza Shiraz talking about it.
And if he still wants that Dalton Smith fight, obviously Dalton Smith getting a world title against Subriel Matias, possibly in November, but hopefully later on.
Yeah. I feel like Eddie Earn's a massive fan of Azim, though, even though he doesn't want to say it because he's got Dalton Smith.
Do you reckon it's been a bit of like play with it. Like, I rate you, Azim. I already rate you. Cameras rolling. Like that one. Yeah, fair enough. No, I think the way when that interview with him and Hamza Shiraz,
that was funny,
and the way Shiraz was like, "Oh, come Queensbury," he was like, "Yeah, bet, son." You're like, doesn't look great.
You got to think as well in this situation about Ben Shalom. You know, he's the third biggest promoter in boxing in the UK.
I don't know why they're not putting anything out though.
They haven't like you say, I haven't posted anything, no updates apart from like happy birthday sort of tweets and all. Great stuff. What are they doing?
I assume they're negotiating to try and find a home for themselves, which is fair enough. They need to.
Terry Harper came out I think it was last week, and she said about fighting Caroline Dubois that Boxer sent over a contract, no venue, no date, just the purse, which I thought was was a bit weird because surely if you were planning a fight, you would have the venue sorted.
Well, if you don't know who's paying you for it, you can't. If you don't know where it's going to be on TV, you can't just pay for a venue that you don't have the money for.
I can't see many fighters fighting for Boxer on a red button. Callum Simpson's another one where I think he's probably the most intriguing one where he would go.
He goes Matchroom.
Yeah, he goes Matchroom.
Him and Eddie Earn would be some partnership.
Can you imagine Eddie Earn with
and
Barnsley
the Yorkshire
well?
talent they've got? Like, if you stuck a Callum Simpson fight on that Dave Allen card, that's suddenly a tasty card. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has the. What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking we need to get these fighters like signed up to. They just all need to leave Boxer so we can see them in the ring.
Yeah, it's a Caroline Dubois. I mean, surely MVP are going to be rubbing their hands together with looking at Dubois and Lauren Price. That's two absolute stars of women's boxing. They're going, yeah, please. Like, they've signed everyone else, they might as well. That'd be pretty good for us as well, because then we could get Lauren Price back in Cardiff. We could get Jake Paul down there. I really love Cardiff. The dream, absolutely.
Jake Paul in our studio as well. You know.
Yeah, we could have him in. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Thank God we didn't film when we did those podcasts back in the day.
What do you mean?
This mug.
Oh no faces. Yeah.
No, but
we
could get him to react to that though.
When you look at it, obviously, bar Clarissa Shields, Gabriella Fundora, like Lauren Price and Caroline Dubois, they have all the superstars really that are left. So only a matter of time, do you think? Or do you think eventually they are going to have to just stop signing all the female talent in the world?
No, I think
why not?
That's what they go in for, isn't it? That's like
that's their niche, ain't it? That's like their target audience now is women's boxing fans and boxing fans in general. You know, they found a market where they've seen that women's boxing isn't getting sort of the limelight that it deserves, and we say this every time when we talk about women's boxing. Some of the best fights you would watch are women's boxing, and I just think what MVP's done is brilliant. Another piece in the magazine with Elizabeth Ashoba,
correct,
most valuable prospect she's on. I think they're just doing great work. It's just a shame that their great work is being done by a man that isn't the most liked person, and it goes back to our thing about being hypocrites. We hate Jake Paul, but then in the next sentence we love what he's doing for boxing. It's weird, crazy.
Yeah, but you got to enjoy it, and you got to enjoy it. Like, you're a Cardiff fan. You're not getting sad when you win a game just because it means Vincent Tan's team's won, even though you don't like him. Do you know what I mean? You have to enjoy the things you enjoy, regardless of the things you don't. So I'm willing to put my my disdain towards Jake Paul to one side for the sake of being happy for all the fighters they're signing and getting the opportunities they're getting. And they're yet to sign my good friend Clarissa Shields as well, which is a lovely little bonus. Until that day when all my enemies are together, that might be a problem for us. But
imagine
just all lined
Jake
up
Paul
waiting.
Clarissa Shields in the same room.
Yeah, I saw Clarissa Shields was she was giving petals to Adi Oladipo the other day as well for the similar thing to what we said. He said Katie Taylor's, they're both great. Katie Taylor's slightly better. She was having a go at him. So what can you do?
I think instead of focusing on what people say, I think she should,
Yeah, talkers talk, doers do. Do things that get talked about, all of that rubbish.
Completely agree.
Is there anything else to wrap up? I'm trying to think. Anything we've missed? Anything exciting coming up?
I just want to know what's happening with Boxer.
Yeah, I think that's like everyone's waiting now for that sort of breaking news that hopefully we'll have a little exclusive from it.
1 p.m. tomorrow before the podcast comes out. Like when you're watching
that would be typical.
You guys are all thinking.
Should we just have one last scroll on Twitter?
What are they talking about? They don't.
What's the last thing it posted?
Yeah, that's actually quite a good point. What is boxers?
Was it the boxers with the bobbleheads? Did you see that one?
No.
They posted all their boxers with bobbleheads. That was quite funny.
It was Karis Arton beating or winning the British title.
Royal Albert Hall. Raven Chapman.
Yeah, it was
it was a good fight.
Then it was Ben Whittaker.
This is what I mean, though. This is the frustrating thing.
That was 5 days ago.
This is the frustrating thing, is that as much as a lot of people like to say to the contrary, there were some great fights and great cards on boxer shows that I will be disappointed that we won't be seeing. They might not have ever been your favourite. They might not have you thought they were the best promoters, whatever, They had a place in British boxing. They were putting on fights worth seeing. They had fighters worth watching. And I do think it's a genuine shame that we're not going to have another one to, in the mix.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the only worry, is if boxer stop putting on fights or like fights to a high level, then that's less places for these fighters to go to get paydays essentially and to get fights. So what is already a sport that is, I think, struggling at certain points for get like enough money to go around, I suppose.
Yeah, not a single terrestrial TV deal in the UK or the US currently for boxing. If mainstream television is going, the money ain't there for us to put this on, it is a cause for concern.
It's interesting to see where Sky Sports go as well with their boxing sort of coverage.
Well, pick and choose the big fights, leave the rest of it, I guess.
The rumours are that they are interested by fight stuff. So
with Wasserman as well,
they did offer it to boxer apparently, allegedly, I should say. But
yeah, I just can't imagine boxer being on BBC iPlayer, but it's gonna happen. Ain't it? It's gonna happen. And it's gonna be weird. You're gonna press on your red button and you're gonna see Ben Whittaker fight.
Maybe.
Imagine. I just can't see it. Like, that's going to be their last resort. I think
just don't get the money.
Do you know one thing I hope they don't go back to, though, is what they used to do when they came on the scene, when they did those like sort of tournaments, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, all in one night. I hope they don't do that.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong with a tournament every once in a while. I don't think it would be their only thing, but Top Tier have done some good ones and stuff. There's been some interesting stuff. We will wait and see. We will have to wait and see. But in the meantime, if you've got anything, or you're sat there waiting around thinking, what do I do until I find out what box to do in? Get yourself hold of a magazine. That'll kill at least an hour, cover to cover, 40-odd pages, loads of articles, pictures, graphics. There's an illustration by my lovely girlfriend in there as well. So, everyone's involved. Harry's probably murdering the microphone right now for everyone to hear. Sorry. It's all good. Lots of great stuff. So, hit us up, drop us a message, get yourselves on one. Other than that, stick around later on the week. Like I said, we've got an exciting guest on the channel for a full podcast as well. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all later in the week.
Punches Chance. Punches Chance podcast.